call the January 12th, 2026 Thornapple Township Board meeting to order. We all please rise and join me in invocation. Lord, may the discussions we share and decisions we make this evening reflect your leadership and your influence in our lives. Amen. You all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Diane, can you roll call?
Schaefer,
Here.
Bouchard. Here. Campbell,
Present.
Dimash,
Here.
Stanton,
Here.
Rarig. Here. Maidenblick. Here.
Okay, we're on to approval of the printed agenda, and I would like to add a letter H to this. That is an agenda request for our poverty exemption resolution 01-2026, and I'd like to make that letter H. With that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion with support to approve the agenda as amended. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, we're at number 5, approval of the consent agenda. And I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion. Support.
I motion with support to approve the consent agenda as presented. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Diane, can you roll call?
Stanton,
Yes.
Dimash,
Yep.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rarig. Yes. Maidenblick.
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
Okay, and we're at number 6, first public comment. And you've got 2 members of, well, actually 4 members of the public present. Would anyone like to come forward and make a public comment? All right. Hearing none, I had no correspondence. Number 8, county report, Commissioner Getty.
Commissioner Smelker sends his regrets that he couldn't be here. But we haven't done a lot at the county since your last meeting. It's the holidays, and we had an organizational meeting on January 2nd. So we reelected the same chair. So Dave Jackson is the chair, Dave Hatfield's vice chair. And all the committee assignments have stayed the same for right now. So not a lot happening. We have a meeting tomorrow morning. And our schedule of not holding the committee of the whole meeting. So we went down as a trial the last quarter of 2025. So we only have 2 meetings a month, and that is going to be adopted into our bylaws for 2026.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you, Catherine. I've got here as reserve time, Chief Richardson. I made a mistake on that, but I guess you're up next anyway.
All right, I guess we can kind of call it reserve time. I wanted to kind of go over year-end key metrics and outcomes. There's a lot of stuff that I track that I don't send to the board because I was told that I sent too much stuff already, and I kind of leaned it way down. But a lot of stuff that I am looking at are, evidence-based statistical information that will help improve outcomes for patients and fires. So I just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of what I'm looking at and how we've improved over the years in some areas that we're still trying to improve on. So the first thing that I send out every month is just our response times, and our out the chute time for the whole year last year was 1 minute and 10 seconds. The goal for us is to get down to 40 seconds at some point. What really hurts us is that if we have a lot of fire calls, it throws our out the door times out because we have to dress out time. So, and I haven't figured out how to split fire calls off with EMS calls, but we've had a higher incidence of fire calls, so it doesn't surprise me, our times are up a little bit from the month before. But looking back a year ago, we were at 1 minute and 37 seconds to get out the door, so we're improving. As for response times in Thornapple Township, we stayed almost exactly the same, 7 minutes and 19 seconds for last year, and we're 7 minutes, 11 seconds. Anything under 8 minutes and 30 seconds to have a first responder on scene is really good. And having advanced life support on scene within 15 minutes is kind of a national gold standard. And so we're having advanced life support services on scene in 7 minutes and 19 seconds, so below the threshold of even first responders. So these key items of being out the door quickly, being on scene quickly, kind of segue into some of the other things that I've been pushing for that I don't send to you. So one of the other things I have been pushing for is to reduce from time on scene to transporting to the hospital. Obviously, we have a lot of the emergency medical, acute medical drugs to give to people, but we don't have all the things to be able to test. So kind of the gold standard is within 25 minutes, they want people off scene. Where I used to work, we always had their gold standard 20 minutes, and that's what I've been pushing. We were over 30 minutes when I first started. We're down to 24 minutes and 24 seconds right now. Hopefully by the end of the year, we're at 20 minutes or less.
That's for leaving for the hospital? or
Leaving.
arrival?
Leaving for the hospital. Arrival for the hospital is very subjective depending on we cover 144 square miles of area. And so we can be up near Caledonia where it's a very fast response to the hospital, or we can be in Rutland Township where we're really close to Hastings and be close to the hospital. So I don't track that metric. It's just too challenging. Another metric we're trying to look at is how quickly from on scene are we identifying that this person might be having what's called a STEMI, which is an ST elevation MI, heart attack. And we want to make sure that people are getting a 12 lead EKG within 10 minutes. Our numbers were over 12 a year ago. We were at 9 minutes and 38 seconds for this year. So we're below the 10-minute threshold that the American Heart Association says we should be is 10 minutes or less. So we want to continue to improve on that. We should be able, within 15 minutes of being on scene, identify if someone's having a stroke or a heart attack. And we've been able to do that, and I have that in the cardiac arrest data also. So I keep pushing these response times and times on scene to try to increase patient outcomes. And we had an incredible year this year on cardiac arrest outcomes. If you look in through this packet, you'll see where it says OHCA, and that's out of hospital cardiac arrest data. And nationally, in rural communities, you get out of 100 cardiac arrests, 29 of them, you'll get what's called ROSC-back, which is return to spontaneous circulation. And out of the people who get ROSC-back in urban or in rural communities, only 8.8% of those make it to discharge. For us, we had 15 cardiac arrests, 10 of them, we got ROSC-back. And that's 66.7%. In-hospital cardiac arrest data, you get, if you go into cardiac arrest in the hospital, 61.7% of the time you get return to spontaneous circulation. And in the hospital, 31% of the time you make it to discharge. And we made it to discharge 29.7%. So competing with almost hospital numbers. Now, granted, there's lots of factors that we might have just been lucky and had a lot of people that had a lot of comorbidities. But I give a lot of credit to our crews. They work really hard to make sure they have no pauses in CPR and know the cardiac arrest algorithms really well. I think that plays into this. We'll see what next year's numbers are. We had a cardiac arrest the other day. And we didn't get Ross back, so I'm like, we started the year off really horrible. We were at 0% for the year. But there was a lot of mitigating circumstances with that. But overall, I'm hoping we're gonna keep this trend going. The other piece I look at is cardiac, or is, CVAs, which is strokes, time is brain. We want to make sure that we are identifying stroke. Even something as simple as someone who has vertigo can be stroke-like symptoms. So we tracked any of the stroke-like symptoms to see if we are missing any strokes, and the national average is 40 to 60% of EMS providers are picking up on strokes, 40 to 60% of the time. And out of the 38 possibilities, we were 100% accurate in defining and seeing that people were having a stroke. And we took all of them to comprehensive stroke centers, which is thorough. So, and out of the 38 people that we transported, 11 of them made it to discharge without any significant clinical impairment. So, it's pretty hard to like figure out what their impairments are when we know they get discharged to a nursing home. It's hard to also follow up like what their rehabilitation was like, but we do know 11 were discharged with no clinical impairment. And I can't remember what the number was for discharge to rehab facilities. So from the on-scene time, the national average is 20 minutes to be transported to the hospital from time of the call, identifying stroke and being en route to the hospital. And we're at 14 minutes and 32 seconds to being en route. Now, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball here, because if you live in Grand Rapids and you have a stroke and it takes you 20 minutes to get identified and be transported to Butterworth, you're still getting there faster than we are, but we're getting there within the, like the golden hour, so they can use either thrombectomies or use medications that are gonna break the clot and identify what the overall problem is. So, the other piece that's in this document that I, printed off is this is a heat map. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it shows where all our calls are originating from. You can see like, we go all the way down here sometimes to assist people, so, but you can see where our hot spots are that we're going to. And the reason why it's really hot right around here is because of transfers out of Costco. Overall, I'm super proud of where we're at. I'm hoping for another great year like we had this year, with the data that I've presented. But I really give a lot of credit to the crews of how much time and energy and effort they spend to make sure that these outcomes are going to be good, and they practice. They work at EMS skills 3-4 times a week, doing back codes and stuff to be superly proficient. So super proud of them for that. I guess I can just delve right into the EMS report. So this month we had a really busy month. We had 30 paid on call responses. We averaged 6.3 firefighters per call. And our out the shoot time for the month of December was 57 seconds, which was up from the month before. I think we were 49 seconds the month before. Our response time was 7:19 in Thornapple Township, and outside Thornapple Township was 11:03. We had 8 structure fires this month, and 2 of them were within our service area. One was in a pole barn that we put out, and the pole barn is still standing. One was the Ellis Street fire that we had that I think everyone saw on the news. Just a recap of that, our crews did an amazing job. First interior attack, get great knockdown on the fire. They just were unable to make penetration into walls and void spaces, and that fire just got underneath them, and the floor system became unstable. We had to pull them out and go defensive so no one else would get hurt. We ended up having 58 firefighters there that day. We had 16 of our own members that showed up, and we're averaging 9 members for structure fires outside of our community. So incredible job from our crews. And then we had 10 motor vehicle accidents, which is pretty close to our monthly average. We average 6.5 firefighters per accident for that. I think that's about all I can rattle on. If you have any questions, On the very back page is where I put all the information. There's a reference, if you're ever curious where I pulled all this statistical information. Some of it was from PubMed, some of it was from different articles. But it'll give you a deeper knowledge of how these statistics are driven from different community. A lot of it's American Heart, but there's also studies from PubMed that you can read if you're really, really interested. Probably.
So the out of the chute time, that varies between fire and ambulance.
Fire is a little bit longer because you gotta get dressed out. So you gotta get
So
all your.
here's an idea, could they wear their gear? I didn't make that suggestion.
What I was thinking.
Laura made that suggestion.
Yeah. What I was thinking is, why even, get HVAC for the station? In the winter time, they can just wear their turn gear all the time. Save some money. That'd be great. I'll let them know you thought that.
Laura, no, I don't want to get beat up.
I'm pretty sure you'll get a response.
I'm sure they'd be excited.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Number 11, unfinished business. We have before you the clerk's report for both November and December. And because that wasn't on the consent agenda, I think we should probably vote to approve the clerk's report from November and December. So we do have to approve that and do the consent agenda. We should probably do it here. Yeah. So, I hope you guys all had time to go through this in the past, 16 minutes.
I got it memorized.
This is what we normally put in the consent agenda.
Yeah.
It's just, a little bit of a learning curve and trying to get some bugs worked out, but we have it before us tonight. So I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the clerk's report for both November and December.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support to approve the clerk's report for both November and December. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Diane, can you roll call?
Prairie,
Yes.
Maidenbluff,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Dimash,
Yep.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, we're having a new business and gosh, chief, why don't you just keep going?
Start with the stove.
Yep,
All right, yeah, the stove that we have has made its past its useful life, the surface of its, on the stove part, there is coming on down to bare metal now. One of the burners doesn't work correctly. And then the oven takes about 45 minutes to warm up. We talked about maybe getting it fixed, but I think at this point, it's kind of useless resolution to fix it. It makes more sense just to purchase a new one. So we have enough crews that make food every day, and they've been wanting me to do this for a while, and I just forgot the last couple of months to put it into the agenda request.
okay, with that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the purchase of a new station range for a cost not to exceed 800.
So moved. Second.
Motion with support to approve the purchase of a new station range for a cost not to exceed $800. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
I know at the EMS meeting, I was concerned, I didn't think that was high enough quality. I did do some reviews, look up reviews, and it does look like it's really good.
All right, are there,
It just doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles on it.
Pardon?
It just doesn't have everything that's super fancy on it.
as long as it doesn't catch on fire, that's all.
That's embarrassing.
That's you get your response time like that, though.
000. Yeah, that'd be great.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, can you roll call?
Yes. Dimash.
Yep.
Maidenbluff,
Yes.
Rarick,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
All right, we're on to new business B, which is, motion to approve purchase of new 800 MHz pagers.
Yeah, so, these get worn into fires and on calls and they're getting bumped and dropped in mud puddles and kicked around. And so we've been sending them off and we don't have any extras. So when we send them off, the person who has broken theirs is now kind of out of service. So we wanted to have a cache of extra ones in case they continue to break, which I assume they will, as they're getting older and we have people in their twenties who are taking care of them. So, I'd like to have a stash of a few extras for, when they do break.
How much does 2,400 buy?
3,
3.
yep. And currently, there's only one vendor that makes them, which makes it really great, very convenient.
Do you plan on, I assume it's going to capital outlay, do you know, all to fire?
Yeah,
Fire?
yeah. Because that's really what it's for, it's for panic call fire responses.
All right, with that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the purchase of 3 800 MHz pagers for a cost not to exceed $2,400.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support to approve the purchase of 3 800 MHz pagers for a cost not to exceed $2,400. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, can you roll call?
Bouchard,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Maidenblick,
Yes.
Rarick,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Dimash.
Yep.
All right, we're on to new business C. And Chief, you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so the state has just implemented a new fire officer 4 class. I assume this will be required by all fire chiefs. They have not made that requirement yet. Fire officer 3, which I do currently have, is required. But I would assume in the next year or so, they're gonna require fire chiefs to have this class. It'll be good education too. There's gonna be stuff about, talking about grant writing and, about discipline and a whole bunch of other things that will be a good class for myself, being a fire chief. So it'll be a good networking opportunity as well.
Okay. I
And-
appreciate
And
it.
they offered to let me stay at the fire station if I wanted to sleep there and not have to get a motel. But one of my friends who lives in town will let me stay at his house.
All right, Chief, I appreciate your willingness to further your education in this. For this, so with that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve the cost of fire officer 4 class for a cost not to exceed $800.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Motion with support to approve the cost of fire officer 4 class for a cost not to exceed $800 for Chief Richardson. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, can you roll call?
Dimash.
Yep.
Rarick,
Yes.
Maidenblick,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
All right, we're in the new business D, which is an agenda request for raising the chief's discretionary spending limit from 500 to 1,000. I think we all realize when that $500 was put into place, things were substantially less expensive than they are now. So $1,000 will give the chief a little bit more opportunity to purchase things as needed without having to get board approval. With that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to raise the chief's discretionary spending limit from $500 to $1,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Sandy. Sandy support, yeah.
Motion with support to raise the chief's discretionary spending limit from $500 to $1,000. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Diane, can you roll call?
Yes. Bouchard,
Yes.
Maidenblick,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Imaj,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
All right, we are on to new business E, which is the recommendation is to, rather than requiring approval for full township board, any TTES spending that is within the budgeted amount may be approved by the EMS committee. Background, the amount for EMS committee approval are already within budgeted amounts, and requiring full township board often causes unnecessary delays. So I would entertain a motion to approve the EMS committee to approve the chief's spending within budgeted amounts. I'll make that vote.
Okay, I'll support it.
Motion with support to approve the EMS committee to approve EMS spending within budgeted amounts. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yes. I have a few questions about this. At this point, I don't think we have, or you have an exact list of all these purchases you want to make during the year, and like how much they'll be. And I understand, I mean, I could go along with this and say it's like things under $5,000, or I'm just concerned if we do the power cuts, we're gonna do an ambulance, we're gonna do expensive stuff. And we won't know about it until the finance meeting, and then I have to move funds around to try to cover it. So I'm concerned about the more expensive, costly things as opposed to a lot of the stuff you had in tonight. It's all needed and required and under $5,000. So I don't think it should be just, if it's in the budget, do it. Unless we have a detailed budget of how much the items are you're gonna wanna buy for the year. And we get notice over here when they're costly, so we have funds in the right bank accounts. Cause I move money around for investments and I need to know that I can get the money back in time.
And if
So I have a
the-
few different issues.
If the EMS committee or the chief, after approval of whatever purchases are within the budgeted amount for the year, if the chief could let you know before he makes that purchase, would that make sense?
I'm assuming do you want this for like the smaller things that are in tonight? Do you want it for big things or what?
So I'll give you an example. Like last year, I put in the budget, like 15 things that I wanted to purchase. And then every time I wanted to purchase those things, you guys approved the budget, and then I had to come back and ask for approval again after it was approved. And that was to limit that. One of the items that I didn't get into, I was waiting for the quote to come in. I didn't get it in time to put into one of the board meetings. By the time the next board meeting rolled around, it went up $1,000. So like sometimes these lags in a month between the next meeting cost more money to the budget. I'm thinking it's mostly the stuff that I identify in my budget, which I'm almost done. I've had the officers give me what they think they need for all their equipment. And then I don't think anything would be over five. I'm not gonna like, oh, unless something catastrophic happened, I'm not like, well, I need $175,000 ambulance. Eric, is it okay if I buy this? And those type of items, I think, would come to the entire board. I think the emergency service committee would be like, I think the board needs to discuss that item, but it's really just the items that I have identified in the budget itself. Like I did last year. I think there was maybe 10 or 15 items.
I know one year, I don't know if it was last year, you gave me all the things you wanted to buy that was in the budget out of the capital improvement fund.
Yep.
And I keep track as they were coming along, so I knew that I needed the money in for these things, but It's a little bit easier for me to float from one bank to the other now. But I'm still trying to get the best interest rate on everything that I can. And I was concerned, that's why I'm wondering, if we could set a limit, under 10,000, under 15,000. Something like that for your committee to go ahead and just say do, but if it's over that,
Yeah, I think that's,
maybe have a vote on it. I mean,
You think have a vote on it or?
bring it to the board, if it's gonna be something more, unless you give us a list detailed out. I know one year you did, I had gotten,
that was last year I gave it to you.
I could see the things you wanted to buy it, but kept it in the fund.
And I have that again for next year.
Cause that was helpful, because we knew when it came through, oh yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah, like some of that stuff I put in grants, and if I don't get the grant, then I wanna be able to purchase. That's why it's not like April 1, I go shopping. So I'm good with either way. I don't think any item, I'd have to double check. I don't think any one item except for handheld radios, because I think they're about $4,000 a piece. We're gonna buy 3 of those a year. Meets the threshold of $10,000. I'd have to double check, but I don't think it does.
I just would rather have an amount on here.
What if, okay, the EMS committee meets, they take action to approve Bill's request. The minutes, how quickly do they get created from that meeting? Could they just be handed to
That would make sense.
Laura?
And
And then it's,
they're approved
okay,
there.
there's, at the very least, there's a notification there. Obviously, you gotta read the minutes and look at that. But I mean, to me, that might give you the notification you need in time to be able to make any transfers that you might have to make.
Usually from the EMS meeting to this meeting is really short. It's usually what happens after this meeting between now and the EMS meeting. So it'd be more like I call Eric and the EMS committee meets either virtually or in person to approve an expenditure is what I was anticipating. I'm sure we can come up with a workflow, so we're not spending money that we.
That Laura is made aware of, right?
Yeah, and I don't anticipate things being over $10,000 if we want to put a threshold on it. I feel comfortable with that as well.
I would feel better about having at least a high enough limit that you can buy the stuff you need. But not when you get to the more expensive stuff, so we all really know about it, when it's coming, and that everyone's clear on it. But I think you can get a lot of your stuff that you need, and you wouldn't have to do these requests like for the oven and some of this other stuff. You can just, if it broke, you need it, get it,
All right.
Could we have it that if anything's over, say, $5,000, if the EMS committee automatically reports to you what's been,
Unless Kathy and I know,
right?
and you're on finance,
I'm
but
on
yeah,
finance,
at least
anyway.
so I have an idea what to do with the banking and
Mhm.
when we're gonna pay.
Right,
And then when of course, then when the invoice comes, Kathy will know about it, that, I mean, won't be surprised.
Mhm.
And we'll just have to work out something. But I don't want it to be unlimited.
All right, who made the motion, me? I'll withdraw my motion. Who supported?
Mhm. I'll withdraw my support.
All right, like to reword that motion to, goodness gracious, how did I say that to begin with? I would like
You got
to I would be happy to entertain a motion, to let the EMS committee approve budgeted purchases of $10,000 or less to be approved by the EMS committee.
And I'll support that.
I'll make the motion. And no support, okay.
Say that again.
It's the same motion it was before, except to
And,
not to exceed
and the,
10,000.
Okay, to let the EMS committee, approve budgeted purchases of $10,000 or
more or
less.
less.
And then you said to be approved by the EMS committee.
No, you're, that's the
Well,
first.
yeah, I don't think it-
Okay.
We approve it once, then we approve it.
Okay, wait, let me say that.
It's a double check.
I've got it.
So with that, are there any questions, comments, or concerns? And I would say, Laura, that if there is gonna be a $10,000 purchase or $9,000, we'll let you know. I mean,
I can
it's,
handle things, it's the bigger.
okay. Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, to your roll call.
Stanton,
Yeah.
Campbell,
Yes.
Dimash,
Yes.
Mavenblick,
Yes.
Rarig,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes,
Bouchard.
Yes.
okay. All right. F is the agenda request for the River Trail memo of understanding. And Catherine, how would you like to? Would you like to speak to this?
Sure, so, the river trail, along the Thornapple River has been something we've been talking about for years, but, there hasn't been real leadership in pursuing it. Recently, several months ago, Caledonia Township, wanted to, dust off the idea again, and we've pulled together stakeholders along the Thornapple River, and there was general consensus that we wanted to develop a river trail modeled after the Lower Grand, and that I think was in your packets. So it'll be a process, but this memorandum of understanding was the first thing that they did along the Lower Grand to get things going, making sure that all the owners of access points on the Lower Grand were on board with the concept. So as a new owner of river access, Thornapple Township is being asked to sign this MOU. And then, once we get, and this is the last one we need for Berry County, except for the state DNR, so it's kind of ironic that we're going for, state approvals for a river trail, and they'll probably be the last ones to get the MOU. But it's just more paperwork to get there. But this, tonight will be the last one for Berry County. So we have the Village of Nashville, City of Hastings, Village of Middleville, and Berry County have all signed MOUs.
All right, with that, I'd be happy to allow a motion to allow me to sign the memorandum of understanding on behalf of the township boards.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support. Motion with support to allow the supervisor to sign the memorandum of understanding on behalf of Thornapple Township Board. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, what are the permit requirements talked about?
So the first thing we need to do is this MOU, then we'll start writing the plan. So I'm not sure what permits we'll need. What are you referencing?
Responsibilities of Thornapple Township. Number 2, comply with all applicable laws, regulations, and permit requirements.
So those are state permit requirements that you're required to have now. By having a river trail plan doesn't add any more permit requirements. So if you're, if the township wanted to develop, a boat launch, for instance, so because we've talked about improving emergency services access on the river, you would have to get state permits through the DEQ to do any work within the waterway.
But this doesn't tie us to any
No,
financial things at this point unless we decide to go forward.
and the river trail is actually in our 5-year rec plan. It was in the last 5-year rec plan as well. But it's just a matter of having, you know, really personnel capacity and the will of the municipality, so. It doesn't add any permitting requirements that you don't already have to do.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, can you roll call?
Mabel Blick,
Yes.
Rarick,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Imaj,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
All right. We're on to new business P, and that's an agenda request for website ADA compliance. And we currently we have to comply with Department of Justice requirements to make our website ADA compliant under WCAG 2.1 AA standards. The cost is in addition to the current website cost of $1,250 per year. So, fiscal impact is $2,000 for the first year. That's $500 onboarding with additional $1,500 of yearly cost, and it'll be $1,500 going on year per year unless they raise their prices.
Is that 1,500 total, or is that on
It's an
top of the
addition.
12?
In addition to,
That's more than,
it doubled their cost, more
more
than
than double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, it's required to make our website ADA compliant. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to have Pixelvine make our website ADA compliant for a cost not to exceed $2,000 for the first year.
I'll make the motion.
Motion with support to approve Pixelvine to make our website ADA compliant for cost not to exceed $2,000 in the first year. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yes. So are these new requirements that just came
Yes.
out?
Well, it was a few years ago, but we've got to comply by next year.
Okay,
Yeah, it goes by population, so we have to, this year, but we have to be by next year.
okay. I mean, I can see some small townships getting hurt by this. I
So,
mean, well, maybe some small townships don't even have websites.
That's
yeah, that's
true.
one way around it. So April of this year, governments serving populations of over 50,000 have to comply. And since we are under 50,000, we have till next April. So 2027.
And is that the only boundary is the under 50,000 people?
Yeah, I mean,
There's no like, okay, if we're under 10,000,
Oh,
which I
no.
think we might still be, I don't know.
we're very close, but no, that's it. 50,000 either way.
I mean, it's a year, but still, that's a bite.
Yeah, and so much of our website is already compliant, but not
I
everything.
was gonna say, what,
There's only a couple things that are not right now, but as we add stuff to it, not all of
It's
it is
gonna creep.
compliant.
So it's costly, I get it, but I don't see any way around it without being.
yeah, no, I agree with that. It's pretty hard to fight that one, I think. But, and does anybody have an example of what ADA compliance means on a website?
I think part of it would be, subtitles, I guess, would that be the proper term for our videos that we put on there, or any content we put on?
Closed caption, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
No more than that.
I couldn't understand the details underneath of that. The pixel line brochure, it didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I just know that we've got to be compliant with
Yeah, right, that's,
the AT 2.1 AA standard. I have no idea what that means, but
no, I don't see much of a way to fight it, but I'm disappointed that it doubled our cost, that's just kind of.
Yeah.
And for what? How many people are we talking about?
Yeah, how popular is that person?
Yeah,
it's pretty popular. But anyway. Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Diane, can you roll call?
Imaj,
Yes.
Maybe Lick,
Yes.
Barry,
Yeah.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Campbell.
yes,
All right. We are on to new business H, which is what I added. That's a dinner request to adopt resolution 01-2026. This is something we do every year. We get the federal poverty income standards and we multiply that by 1.25 because we are just, I don't know. But anyways, we feel that people at the 100% of the federal poverty guidelines would be, that doesn't fit our area. So we're at 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. And we do this every year. And yeah, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to adopt resolution 01-2026, our poverty guidelines for 2026.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion with support to adopt resolution 01-2026. Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Diane, can you roll call?
Maybe Lick,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Campbell,
yes,
Imaj.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're at number 13, committee reports. Admin. Yes, welcome, Lori. Anything else? Yeah, cemetery.
Well, it's kind of taken up.
It's not on the account of EMS. So,
Trying to get in there, but that gives me.
I got a call from, this is related to the cemetery, but Craig Stolzenberg called this morning and people were using the trail. Good thing, but they were parking directly in front of his gate. So that was restricting inflow and outflow from the Middleville DPW. So they're going to pour some gravel on their side and they asked our approval to pour a little bit of gravel on our side for people to actually park not in front of their gate. And we gave them the go ahead to do that. It's gonna be, I don't know, maybe 12 by 25, but it's nothing permanent. But hopefully that'll keep people from parking in front of the DPW's gate. Middleville DDA. We are in the planning phase for the Riverbank Music Series. With the street being torn up, I don't think it's going to happen at the amphitheater unless people want to walk in, but I don't see that happening. I was told that, you know, possibly we could have it at the gazebo like it used to be. So I think that's possibly, we haven't made any concrete decisions yet, but we're probably gonna move it back to the gazebo for 2026. Elections.
We have the elections coming up in May. And so, we'll have to start preparing for that. Yeah, other than that, we haven't had anything with elections. Is Lori being trained? She will be, yes. We just got her in the system today.
Okay, well, May's a little bit off, but not too far.
Is that the primary for the midterm, or, cause I heard Michigan was gonna move its primary?
Well, there was something that said there's gonna be an election in May, and then there's another thing that said they're gonna vote about talking about moving it to May.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I heard it was, August. But then,
And historically, it's August.
yes, but then Lauren mentioned that.
Yeah, it came in
The
the
MTA.
MTA magazine today.
Yeah, so it was there, but then there was another email that said, or no, things they want to pass this year, the legislature. And there it said, moving the August one to May.
Right.
So now I don't know.
Yeah, because I had an audit. As a matter of fact, we passed with 100%, on that audit. And, I think they said it was the first time, and well, with all the counties, they thought ours would have issues because you have 3 precincts, and, they said everything was perfect. So, and they told me at that time that elections or that whole process would be in August, so I don't know.
They're gonna have to move quick at the state level to have a May election.
Right.
Well, and what Laura brought up was a good point. I mean, if you're gonna run for election, your time is short, if it's truly gonna be. You're nominating petitions and all that, I mean, that's.
Exactly.
And how far in advance do we have to print?
Yeah.
Don't the laws take effect after the legislative session ends? Unless you have, has money attached to it that has immediate effect.
I don't know why they're still talking about trying to pass this and moving it this year.
Well,
There were 5 items that were listed about things that, they want to pass, and that was one of them. And another one is one I've been following, postmarks that have to do with the tax payments. That's on there. I was disappointed. I was hoping it was gonna like fade away, but it's one of the 5 that they're following. I don't know how to explain it soon. Maybe the county clerk will know something.
Yeah, stay posted. Emergency services, you guys want to get together right after this and approve a bunch of stuff? Ross, you got anything for emergency services?
Maybe a brief little observation on this map. I didn't get an opportunity to talk about it earlier or at the committee meeting. But it looks like we've got a hotspot of call volume that's pretty heavy within the city of Hastings.
We do.
And that puzzles me.
It's Penn Hospital.
They
Right.
got their own ambulance.
All,
Hold on a second, I said exactly, I got the information right there. We went into the bird last year 174 times, and I went to Kent County 165 times, and Wayland 19. That's why. And almost all of the responses into the Birch were in the city. It's most popular.
Yeah, I guess it's not anything I wanted to take any action on, but it kind of interests me. I wondered why that was so much.
It's better than it was.
Yeah,
When I first started, there was 30 to 40 calls a month we were doing. In there, so they're better than they were. Last month, we only did 5. But I ticked back up in Kent County because they just moved resources from Kent County to Perry County.
but
So,
life in Hastings is,
yeah. They just opted Peter to pay Paul, so.
other than that, nothing else.
okay. Finance, okay, Parks and Rec, our 5-year rec plan is
So it's approved, it's gone through all the entities. Nathan is putting the plan together with the resolutions and the minutes. And then, you remember how we went into my rec grants? You'll have to upload that. So it's due February 1st. I talked to Nathan today, so you and I should connect in the next week or so. Make sure that you can, you know, get your passwords, everything correct, because we want to make sure that, you're eligible for grants this year.
Okay,
Not that we're applying for any grants. We don't have any plans because the deadline is March 1st, I think. So, and that you would have had to do a whole bunch of things before now if the township wanted to apply for grants this year. But it's important to get that plan in place.
all right, thank you, Catherine. Personnel and compensation.
Have anything to share here?
We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Property and public utilities.
Nothing except we were talking about getting Nathan from Matrix out.
Yep, I did talk to him today, and I said, we'd like a little more, you saw the email,
Yeah,
I said I need more than what a Google review would give. I said, I don't need an exact dollar amount, but we need to have a little bit more comprehensive than what you gave us. And he said that he could come up with something. As soon as he gets that, I will forward it on to everybody and we'll have another in-person meeting. We can kind of hash out what we do and don't want and go from there.
okay.
So he said the $3 sign would probably be 500 or more thousand. I said, well, we're probably more $2 or $1 sign. Right? So.
All right, roads and highways.
No, we met at the road commission this week. I thought Jake did a really good job presenting high level stuff, you know, from the state level. And essentially what he's saying is, yeah, the state told us they passed, you know, fix the damn roads money. But the road commission is gonna be hurting in 2026 for actually collecting money. And because there's a delay in picking up money from, I'll say, the marijuana tax, that's got legal implications in it, you may have heard. And then they're swapping out the sales tax for a 20 cent a gallon tax. That's gonna have built-in delays to it as well, so they're kind of scratching their head when the money's gonna come. Other than that, I don't think we had a big issue with it. No, ultimately, it's gonna come out fairly well, and they're asking the townships to please continue their respective contributions to it. That will help also. So that's all I got on that topic.
Okay, Duncan Lake Sewer.
I don't have anything new there.
We had a break in the line happen,
Oh,
and,
is that before the
yeah,
last?
when you and I were out there.
Yeah, I think that was before the last meeting, but
Yeah.
okay.
But I talked to Jim Dole, and Jim Dole is gonna pick up 5,000 of that.
Oh, my God.
So we're gonna send him an invoice for
$5,000, so. And then when Jim Dole picks up the tab, that means I paid the tab.
Well,
But you said there was some contingency money in there.
There is.
Yeah.
So
That's
maybe.
where- But ultimately,
he was,
those of us that were on that big dig, if you may, the drain project, that came out of our pockets,
And the township too.
and the township too, yes.
I guess either way, it would have hurt.
Yes, I mean, either way, yeah.
But he was very reasonable about it.
Yeah, sounds like, it, yeah. I'm actually pleased he offered that.
Yeah, me too.
How do you spell his name? Jim?
Bull, Jim.
He's the drain commissioner.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, we're into number 14, second public comment. Would anyone like to speak?
I meant to mention in the county update, and I sent Eric an email about the citizen planner that's being offered by Berry County, so, I know that Sandy's done it, citizen planner. It's a great opportunity. There's 6 sessions. They're on Tuesday nights. And usually you have to travel, to a destination to do it in person. I think I went up near Cadillac. And so it's right here at the Titan Center in Hastings, Tuesday nights for 3 hours. There's 6 sessions, starting the 3rd of March and going through the first week in April. It's a great opportunity if you haven't taken it, or if you're ZBA members or planning commissioners haven't yet taken it. It's $250, but it'll be in person amongst other Berry County colleagues, so it's a good opportunity. Even if you don't live in Yankee Springs. Eric pointed out, there was a typo in my email.
Catherine doesn't make many mistakes, but she sent that, it said, this is a good opportunity for the appointed and elected officials in Yankee Springs to, learn about, citizen planning. And I wrote back to her, I said, well, I'll make sure I let them know about it. Yeah. But I will send that on to everybody.
Thank
So they have the opportunity to take it. Does sound like a good opportunity, and it's closer than Lansing or wherever. I mean, it's nice to have it right here in Berry County.
It's really nice to do it. Everywhere has unique scenarios. And it'd be really nice to take it with other people in Berry County that are facing similar constituents and similar issues. Way better than taking it online.
Is there any further public comment? Hearing none, let's move to poll of members. David?
I don't have anything.
Sandy?
Welcome to Lori. And we'll see everybody at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Ross? Kurt?
Welcome, Lori. That's all I got.
All right. Laura?
I'd forgotten I was sick last time. I missed December, but I don't have anything new.
Nine from December?
I recovered.
We're glad you did, Laura. Kathy?
Welcome to Lori. Glad we have you here.
All right. I'd like to say, welcome, Lori. Yeah, you got a lot to learn. It's gonna be a learning experience. I think you're gonna be, as the chief might say, you're gonna be drinking from the fire hose for a little bit. I have nothing more than that. And with that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Did you do
That was
motion with support?
What's
To adjourn. Are there any comments or concerns? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I did.
Yeah.
I hope it's.
I know, it's like,
I know Ross was thinking it though.
okay.